Good morning. Hello. Good morning. And Kevin and Colleen, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys being here. And this show, I am your host and stroke survivor, Jerry Wald. Welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. Um, anyway, I wanted to just touch on this subject. Someone recommended I do something on seizures because I have them. Understanding and managing uh, seizures after a stroke. I'm not sure how many people out there have had seizures after their stroke. Well, um, it's interesting to hear who's had them. I've had quite a few of them, but people ask how does a good morning, Doug? Um, what do they say? Someone asked me, why do seizures happen after a stroke? Not for everybody, but when you have a stroke, your brain tissue is damaged. And sometimes that damage can leave behind um, scar tissue and or electrical shorts in the brain. Um, these misfires can lead to something called post-stroke seizures. And there's actually two kinds of seizures. They and listen, I know I'm not obviously not a doctor, so don't quote me, but for the most part, I think I'm pretty okay with this. There's two types of seizures. There's early seizures, which usually happen within a week of the stroke. Then you go to there's late seizures, and that happens weeks, months, or even years later. And not everybody who has a stroke have seizures, but it's something that we all need to be aware of. So I'm not sure of how many people out there have seizures. Um, and be interesting to know. So please, in the comments, tell me if you've had seizures or it's something that you um, worry about. Um, and and every person's experience is different. That's something that what does a seizure feel like? Um, I don't know if you don't, if you haven't had them. What does it feel like? Well, every person's seizure is different. Some people black out completely. Um, Others stay conscious but feel strange sensations. Whew. And here are a few symptoms stroke survivors that have shared. And I've shared with mine, I think online, one of mine, sudden confusion or staring spells. And that's kind of a, yeah, I've had like muscle jerks or twitching, um, some sudden sense of fear, deja I can't even say it, or a strange smell. I've had those too. The strange smell. I smell smoke, and that I kind of sit down just in case I'm going to have a seizure. Temporary loss of awareness. And that's something. And some seizures are very short. And by the way, I was someone asked me to do something about uh, this topic, and so that's what I'm doing, kind of going over seizures because um, I know what they're like, and I know a lot of people out there have had them. Some seizures are very short, um, just a few seconds. Some last longer and can be more serious. And if you have a seizure, had one, um, or think you have or have had any, but talk to your doctor. That's something you might need an EEG. I've had those. It's a brainwave test or medication to prevent that from happening. So again, please put in the comments if you have them. It'd be interesting to see. Crystal, when 2 years ago, you okay? Um, I'm just reading some of the comments. Thank you so much for putting the comments in here, and I appreciate it. And same with me, Crystal. I've been obviously seizures, and I've also was diagnosed the same as you, epilepsy. So that's something just got to be aware of. But I can tell you, I've had an EEG, which kind of You know, it's kind of what I say. It's kind of like a lightning strikes in your head. Um, so what do you do if you have a seizure, or if you see someone's having a seizure? First of all, even for me, stay calm. And you, if you have them, and I see you having them, just keep the person safe. Don't restrain them, because I've never been restrained for having a seizure. Don't put anything in your mouth, um, and time the seizure. I have an app on my phone, and I keep track of when I'm having them and how long do they last. So the time you probably want to, if it lasts more than 5 minutes, then you call 911. That's something, I've had that happen several times. Turn if they do possibly, what do you call it? If you pass out, see someone doing that, um, turn them on their side, and let them rest. And it's normal to feel tired or confused. I don't know, see more of my comments here or there. 2 years after stroke. Yeah, okay. And there, none with me. Good for you. And yeah, mine was probably about a year after my stroke. I see him. Um, well, Kevin, I thank you for commenting, you guys, and I appreciate that. And Nolan, good to see you here. Thank you for your dedication to stroke and awareness. Thank you. Yeah, this is all about bringing awareness to stroke, TBI, aphasia, brain injury, and I appreciate you guys being here. It means a lot because my whole life is about really about stroke. So how do you avoid? Does anybody know how you avoid um, seizures after our stroke? Um, well, let's see. We can't always prevent seizures completely. There are ways to reduce the risk. Um, First of all, this one is a little tougher for me. Get good sleep. Um, Lack of sleep can actually trigger it. I don't sleep real well. Take meds, and this, I know I can't even say that. These are like take meds on time. I try to. I know there's no excuse, but I try to. Um, and if you have blood pressure meds too, take that on time. So those anti-seizure, there's so many different types. I do take some. Some people say they don't want to. They want to take different types of meds, whatever. But I go by what my doc says. Manage stress. Chronic stress can overstimulate your brain. That can cause um, seizures. Um, um, we have a glass of wine or whatever, but it said, excuse me, limit alcohol and recreational drugs. That's it. The brain's threshold for seizure, it lowers it, and that's a big thing. Stay hydrated and eat balanced meals. I'm Yeah, I do eat balanced meals. Electrolyte electrolyte imbalancement imbalances, um, it triggers seizures. Also track how you feel. Um, if you notice patterns before a seizure, I notice like weird smells, light flashes, or mood swings. That could be aurora, um, early warning signs. So that's a big deal. I mean, that's something we have to keep track of that. Which I have. I don't know if you do. Good morning, Faisal and Lynn. Yes, I feel. Um, I smell smoke. That's one of them. That I don't know if anybody smells smoke. Well, I do. I smell smoke, not all the time. Um, Lynn, good to see you. Good to see everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. Uh, Good morning, Michelle. I'm talking about understanding and managing seizures about stroke. So if you miss this in the beginning, it's totally cool, totally fine. But just what do you call it? You can look back on it because this will probably be a fairly short show, but I've had no seizures yet. 7 years since I had your stroke. Yeah, not everybody has seizures. Well, you know, I do. Um, I do have seizures, and so how can you the big thing if you have a seizure after your stroke, like me, don't be afraid to talk about it. So sharing your story will help others. This, so many so many survivors, and not only a stroke, it could be a TBI or something that have seizures. So many uh, of us feel alone. So, or in the beginning, I felt ashamed. That was one that I dealt with. But now, I mean, what I'm doing the show, I share my story about that. So seizures are not a failure or something to hide. Sharing your story, your journey, helps others feel seen, and it also educates loved ones, other people that really don't understand what we go through. So, but just know that you guys are incredible. So it's something that we it's better to share than not share. It's something that I talk about it a lot. But someone like I said in the beginning, someone asked me, can you just do a short little show on seizures, what you go through, and I think it's because I was diagnosed seizures in the beginning, but I was diagnosed with epilepsy. Like, um, oh yeah, sorry, so many people that I think it was Crystal, yes, that said that you were diagnosed with epilepsy as well. So I'm not sure when your last. Yes, Serena, nice to see you. Yes, good sleep. I know that's a good. That's how I covered it in the beginning. Is good sleep. Let's see what I actually right. I type everything in my um, on my computer. But yeah, here it is. So after our stroke, can you avoid seizures? Does anybody think you can avoid it? You can actually try to prevent seizures. Like Serena, I think you said, yeah, like here's some get good sleep. Because lack of sleep will trigger. Well, it can trigger. And you said this again, Serena, is take meds on time, especially anti-seizure or blood pressure meds. Right? Manage stress. That's a huge one. Um, Chronic stress can overstimulate your brain. Limit, limit. I mean, I don't know why they said that. Limit alcohol and avoid um, recreational drugs. You know, they lower your brain's threshold for seizures. Um, Stay hydrated and eat balanced meals. Um, and the other one too is I have an app, like I said in the beginning, I have an app that I have to. It's in my phone, but I'll put it in the comments below later. But there's an app that keeps track of your seizures. And I think Kevin, good morning, Tara. Uh, Um, you know, yeah, I have an app that keeps track of when I have a seizure, and it's important. So when I go to the doc, when I go to my neurologist, I show her my app and I show her, this is when I had my last seizure, and um, but it's very important though to I think to keep track of it. So then when's the last time you had one? Well, I had it, um, you know, and here's does anybody, if you have seizures, anybody like me? Not all the time. I smell, smoke, um, mood swings, you know, um, weird smells like I mentioned, light flashes. Um, Before a seizure. I'd be interested to see if anybody um, has that same thing like I do. It's it's um it's pretty interesting. Okay, I'll back up on this one. Are Are there a few symptoms stroke survivors have shared is sudden confusion or staring spells? You know, my wife asked me um, the other day. She goes, why are you staring at me? Is is that a sign of a seizure? I didn't feel anything, but I stared, and I didn't realize I was staring. Sudden sense of fear, you know. I think this one's a good one too. Is deja vu. You know what, and me the and temporary loss of awareness. You know, some seizures, like I mentioned, are very short, for just a few seconds. Some are longer than, they can be more serious. So, but if you think you had one and you don't really know, I'd suggest talking to your doctor, even though I know I'm not a doctor. Um, let's see here. I'm still having issues with seizures. Tara, yeah, I didn't know that about you. And Kevin, you don't, yeah, and that's the thing. If you smell something, that's a big thing. If you smell something weird, I smell smoke, and sometimes I don't feel anything, but just smell it. That's what I came up with me because when I smell, or if you have a seizure, for me, I'm wiped out. I mean, it could take a whole day, and I'm in bed. I can't. I'm exhausted, and that's a huge thing for me. Um, but and for I hear that from a lot of people that you're wiped out too. But it's funny that the staring. And it's funny that I mentioned that because I that happened just the other day, and I thought, wow, I didn't catch myself like that. But so you do. Well, the most of seizures, and I'm just going by me. So I, like I mentioned, talk to your doctor because we're all different for these. Muscle jerks. It starts in my whole touching my leg, but that's where it starts for me. Always starts in my lower extremity on my. It starts on my since I'm right side affected. It starts on my right leg, and then I could feel my hand. I mean, going right on up, and if okay, I just want to ask somebody this. Do you feel, um, does anybody feel like, I'm with you there, wait, before I forget. Oh, does anybody, um, do you feel like you're, I, I know, short-term memory, but anyway, uh, thank you. Kevin, somewhere you said that, did you? Did I say you mentioned Kepra? I know, me too, Kepra, and mine is lacosamine, and those are mine that I take. And oh, okay, you're getting off Kepra with the doctor. Okay, because of the seizures. I know, I'm with you on that. Not all seizures are convulsions. Some are silent. Yeah, and I've had those too. And I didn't. I just gets that confusion in my brain. That's that happens to me. But you're right. I appreciate you guys all jumping in. Um, so yeah, I okay. That's what I was going to say. You said your doctor is going to kind of help you get off of it. Okay, Kevin, I uh, I was told since I was diagnosed with epilepsy I'm going to go to the doctor for the weekend for the epilepsy guy. I know I was a wussy on this one, but he said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to you be in this room, for the weekend. We're going to take you all off the meds like that, and we want to see how many seizures you have. I didn't show up for the appointment. I didn't want to. I didn't want to have that feeling. Okay, I'm going to have these seizures, and they hook me up to the EEG thing, and they want to see how many seizures I have. Yeah, yeah. Um, so it'd be interesting to see, Kevin. I'd love to see um, what happens with that. I'd love to know if they can wean you off it. I mean, yeah, yeah. I know. So yeah, so Kevin, we'll have to get in touch on that. I'd love to know. Um, and also, um, this year back in Avila um, next week. Just throw that out there. But anyway, yeah, my Tara, mine too. I tingle, but it really starts with my right leg, and oh, that's what I was going to say is stand up right. This for me works great. I stand up um, right away, and then, but I weight bear on that leg, and typically that helps. But I don't know if I think someone remembers when I was doing a show. I don't know how many years ago. I started having a grand mal seizure. I couldn't talk right like this, but I moved my hand right over. Um, I did, and what I do, anyway, I put the camera down, and yeah, okay, yeah. So I had one just on this, and it was just I didn't know what to do because I couldn't talk. It was just a total confusion. That was the only one that I have, but I still have the ones where I can't talk. Um, and that's kind of a like, am I having another stroke? Does anybody worry about that? Well, anyway, that's well, my topic is understanding and managing seizures after a stroke. So if you missed it, um, you have to go back and watch it. But I appreciate you guys again being here and tuning in. And for those, because I see a lot of people that, and that's totally fine. Is I see you watching and not making any comments, and that's fine. If you can get one thing out of this, I appreciate it. So anything Tuesday, it may be a little. I'm not sure what I'll be doing, but if I'm on the beach, I will have, or in the airport, I'll have my iPad and be doing something. So anyway, you guys have a great Thursday. And if I don't talk to someone, well, anyone, um, have a great weekend, and we'll check back with you. Take care, everyone.